One of the casualties of the pandemic were standardized college admission tests like the SAT, and it appears that's not going to change anytime soon. Earlier this year, the College Board, which administers college admission tests, announced the SAT will be either postponed until 2022 or cancelled. These tests have been a rite of passage and necessary part of the college admissions process. Educators consider them a clear-cut way to assess a student's level of academic preparedness. Hafiz Lakhani runs a company that helps students prepare for college entrance exams.
The difficulty of earning an A can be very different from one school to another. So this is where the standardized part of standardized tests is quite important. With those same students from very different high schools, we can look at an apples-to-apples comparison of their problem-solving ability based on a score result on the SAT or ACT.
But for years, education experts like Akil Bello from the National Center for Fair and Open Testing have been criticizing standardized tests, saying they do not judge students fairly, favoring students who are good test takers and more financially well off.
To a certain extent, you can think of test preparation as steroids for standardized testing. So the more you use standardized testing, the more you advantage those with the money to pay for standardized test prep. It also excludes various demographic groups depending on the education they received.
Anais Chubukian spent her final 2 years in high school preparing for standardized tests. Her parents hired tutors, which cost them $3,000.
It's more of like a strategic test. If you know how to approach the questions, it's easier. That's what the tutors taught me. They taught you how to take it.
In response to the decision to postpone standardized tests like the SAT, over 1,500 U.S. colleges and universities made them non-compulsory. That policy will remain in place until the fall of 2022 in most U.S. universities, including Ivy League schools. Aduluva Fatukasi, a former high schooler in Washington, D.C., was among those who decided to skip the standardized test. She was admitted into the University of Pennsylvania.
I was advised to just take the test option for my more selective colleges.
Critics of standardized tests are encouraging universities to have test-blind policy.
Some colleges, which is a much more clear policy, the University of California system, St. Mary's in Texas, have announced that they will not look at test scores at all. So if you submit them, they're not considering them. And I think that policy is a very clear policy, asking students to focus on their academics in school and their personal interests.
Anais and Adeuluva got into the schools they wanted, but while their future looks bright, the future of college admissions test remains unclear. Anusha Vitisyan, VOA News, Washington.